high blood pressure, yeah? So people like our members that come in and they go to the doctors and they have high blood pressure, their heart rate's high, what could they have?
Stress.
Could we have a bit of a chronic stress thing going on here, rather than actually having a sort of a major clinical condition. So this is what we're going to look in detail a little bit more.
What sort of time period does this happen?
We measure now over 3 to 6 months. Okay, so, but this can happen within like minutes.
We could say most people, you get people that have their blood pressure go up just from being at the doctors.
Yeah, you get that white sort of coat syndrome as well. But the same thing is, that's what it's doing. You know, and if someone's susceptible to that, a big day that was, walk past there, sure it was. If someone's susceptible to that, then obviously they're quite susceptible to it in everyday life. So that's the case.
What are we supposed to do about their stress? We can help them here for now, but they've got to be back home.
Yeah, exactly. So so all this stuff here that we think, that we think is amazing. So we're normalising people, yeah, we're doing all this, it's brilliant. Yeah, we think, hit a bomb, we've got this nailed. No, we haven't. We're nowhere near it yet. Because this happens all the time. And this is dangerous, yeah, it's a chronic, this will do two things. There's a hormone called DHEA, and that's your kind of anti-aging hormone. And if this is continuously high, DHEA levels drop down. And that's a really bad environment to be in. You guys probably release, feedback loop normal, de-stress, and it just goes away, yeah? And you start metabolizing it. So low intensity exercise, below a certain VO2, will metabolize ketones out of your blood. Lovely thing to do. But if you've been in a chronic state, with cortisol levels really high, 9 times out of 10, your autonomic nervous system is a little bit screwed up as well. Yeah? So we know the difference between the two systems, yeah? So you've got the autonomic nervous system, yeah? There's two categories. So we've got sympathetic, and para. Okay? So which one upregulates and which one downregulates?
Regulates sympathetic.
Other one.
Para.
Paralyzes, yeah? So it paralyzes you. Yeah? So, what system do you think we're in when cortisol's high? Sympathetic.
What? Oh yeah, because that's the one
Like
where you're
something
stressed.
around.
Yep, this one. So sympathetic overdrive you're in, yeah? This one starts to drop off. And this one, what happens in this one? If you're in a good state of rest, what's going on? Heart rate comes down, blood pressure comes down, sleep patterns improve, yeah? Blood sugar levels improve, gut health improves. So where's the kind of biggest factor that we need to look at for our members where they'll recover? Sleep, yeah? So that's the biggest factor, is sleep. Now with the autonomic nervous system, I've never done it until these boys have highlighted it, that you can identify and capture data on it. So what you do is you basically strap a heart rate monitor system onto you, heart rate, and you have to put in a chest pad here as well, and they talk to each other. What it does over 3 days, it measures you whether you're in sympathetic or parasympathetic through heart rate variability. Yeah? And you know the PQRS waves, there's a certain distance between you when your heart beats. Yeah? And depending on that distance is depending on what heart rate variability you're at. And it needs to be variable. If something is 60 beats, that's really bad. Yeah? In millisecond terms, it will be hugely variable. And that means that you're in parasympathetic if it's variable. It's a bit backwards.
So you're not supposed to do this whilst you're exercising? You're supposed to have 3 days, or just when you sleep?
It monitors the whole lot.
Okay.
It's a neat bit of kit. You can.
It takes that into consideration.
Yeah, it's insane. It takes everything, so because it knows. It's such an intelligent bit of kit. It will know when you're exercising. Because what happens when you exercise? Do you think? if you exercise hard, let's say, your heart rate becomes out of the monitoring systems will assess whether you've gone into sympathetic or parasympathetic, because it will assess the milliseconds distance in between your heartbeats. So if it start to become irregular, it knows you're exercising. When you sleep, it looks at the autonomic nervous system, the heart rate variability, and it will tell you whether you've just dropped into REM, your 90-minute cycles. So we had like case studies on there, and it's like you can have one drink of alcohol, which people think is going to set them up, relax them. No way do they get into this mode. There's some people that never ever get into this mode. We have members down here that will never get into this mode at the minute. Like Jax, yeah? So Jax has gone through HR director, massive responsibility, always getting ill, yeah? Always stressing out, works hard, doesn't sleep that well, and what's Jax sort of, and she won't mind me talking about it, but what she tried to do, implement? She tried to do everything, hasn't she? From different massages to mechanics, she's getting injured a lot. We looked at biomechanics, she's stiff. Nutrition-wise, she needs to see a nutritionist. What could we possibly do to her, really simply, and you won't be able to do it yet, or we won't be able to do it yet, what could we just, there's one piece of advice we could probably give her. What is that? Which you just said.
Chill out.
Chill out, try and sleep. Yeah, and it's all very well saying chill out to someone, yeah, they do, but they won't be able to. We need to identify and see how long she's in this and how long she's in this. And there's a decent graph, you can see the data, and I'll show you it once we start getting the testing here. So we test the saliva, 4 points during the day. Cortisol levels should be high in the morning because it wakes us up. It gets our asses out of bed, yeah? And if that's disrupted, then obviously we feel a bit groggy in the mornings, yeah? So if we're in this all the time, what hormone's being produced all the time? Adrenaline, yeah, and cortisol. What does cortisol do? It gives us these underlying sub-health problems. Yeah, insulin problems as well. Too much sugar in the blood. And when those sort of things are in the blood, they kind of irritate the lining. It's like someone scratching it. It's like they demonstrated it. And it just keeps scratching. And what happens when you scratch something enough? It starts sort of getting inflamed, yeah, and then it scabs. And that's what happens in the arterial scoliosis. Yeah, that's where your arterial can narrow. And that's what happens. So we need to understand chronic inflammation or chronic upregulation of cortisol and how that affects our body. Because it affects everything. So digestion, for instance, yeah? If our cortisol levels are high and we're in this phase all day long, we're not recovering. Our cells don't recover. Yeah? They just don't recover. We switch our protective mechanism cells, T cells, TH1 will move to TH2, which is really bad because that then forms cancerous cells. So continual stress has that effect. You're more likely to go on painkillers. You're more likely to be prescribed antidepressants. You're more likely to be prescribed metformin, high blood pressure tablets, beta blockers, anxiety issues, because of this epoxy thing. But we can't get up here yet. Yeah, we have interventions that we're going to give our members and you guys to look at. After I've tested them, then we're going to implement the whole thing. We'll probably test up this with the guys that we're working with. I'll test the staff and we'll run through your profiles as well and see where you're at. Yeah.
Who were the guys presenting? What were they? Profession-wise?
High-level physiologists. Yeah, they run some big stuff in their time.
Yeah.
Obviously, if I send this recorded to them, horrible people. Yeah, horrible. You never want to work with them at all. But yeah, they're good guys. They kind of sort of logically explain things that were getting on my nerves a little bit. Why people won't get better? You know, why is our industry so bad when we've got great diets out there? You know, we've got great biomechanical things out there. So if you just look at that, it's logical. If we've got someone in that's got high level cortisol, or in sympathetic neural response, yeah, all the time. I'm not saying this is for everyone. They shallow breathe. When you shallow breathe, your head comes forward. Yeah, up here gets tense. In biomechanical terms, what's one of our biggest problems to get rid of? It's the thoracic stiffness, and this will increase thoracic stiffness. So there's some logic to say, well, if we can relax people a little bit more, we might be able to free up their thoracics, just their breathing.
Well,
that's the hard.
Try to sleep. I'm sure they try to sleep every night.
Well, that's the hardest thing.
You can't tell them to stop working or go sleep, talk to someone. Do you know what I mean?
No, yeah. So that's
Well,
that's the intervention that we need to do. So what we need to do is we give them like a CHIPS questionnaire, or a CRIS questionnaire as I like to call it, and they go through a subjective questionnaire whereby it tells us, for instance, do you feel any heart murmurs or anything. There's a load of questions and we build a profile based on that.
do you have that down here once?
No, we use the Roland Morris sort of disability questionnaire for pain, but that's the questionnaire that we use on that. But you'll get people now. So when we start taking people through this, they'll go through that Kubler-Ross's curve, where they go through that sort of stage where it's denial. And I kind of found myself doing it on the course. I was like, no, we've been doing it right. We've definitely been doing it right. And then all of a sudden, you start doubting yourself. No, okay. And then you listen to it and you think, yeah, okay, right.
Acceptance is the first step.
That's it, got it. And these boys have got it nailed down to the T. So how do we do that? Well, first of all, we've never been able to capture the data. So if their cortisol levels are high or progressively getting lower, because lower is going into adrenal fatigue. It's a little bit like that chronic fatigue. And GPs don't even pick this up.
And it's low when it should be high. Is that what you mean?
Well, it should be in a range.
Yeah.
So you can
It's below that range.
If it's below the range, and the anti-aging hormone DHEA is low, that's it. Then we have a few problems that we need to deal with. But the great thing is that we can deal with them. We just have to identify them. The hardest thing that we've never been able to do in our industry is identify them. But now we've got the ability to identify them through cortisol mapping, and through heart rate variability. What we've seen on some of the examples is, this is going to be a really crude example, but let's say, for instance, that this is parasympathetic, and that's mapping on, that's heart rate, and this is the level of sympathetic here. And what we see is these blips of parasympathetic. And this might be where they sleep, for instance, This might be where they eat. So this is where they're eating. So what you'll see is that when someone sits down to eat, all of a sudden, the brakes get put on and the brakes come off this, and this goes up. So one of the easiest things to do, one of the easiest two things for people to do is to have lunch, is to sit down, is to chew your food, and that will put you in. That will give you something back into your health pot. Because as time goes on, you guys bounce back from anything. I mean, lack of sleep, alcohol, stress, partying. You boys bounce back like it's ridiculously well. But there'll be a time where that bounce back elasticity, that just leaves you. And we have to be a bit careful, because our members are stiff now. Our members are way over 35. Once we start going over 35, that's when we start running into a few that will probably start getting injured. Your muscle tissue's not the same, it's wrapped up with a bit of scar tissue. Geordie, you're just unlucky, those knees, mate, but that just needs a bit of rehab. So for instance, so we need to get people into more parasympathetic, so at night time, So let's, for instance, the classic one, I'm a bit done in today, I'll have a glass of wine. Go off to sleep, no problems at all. But what we should find is that we get a load of parasympathetic dominance when they sleep. They're not getting any. Alcohol doesn't allow you to go into it. It just stops you going. You sleep, but you don't release things like growth hormone. We have a hormone called pregnenolone, and that will tell the body which hormone it wants to upregulate or downregulate. And cortisol tells it to go catabolic. So testosterone, which is a building block for us, and estrogen in women, it will just stop it. So it will upregulate the catabolic hormones. So cortisol is a big messenger that basically gives us a little bit of a problem if we stay in it. But we never had the capability to analyse it. So one of the best things to do when you get home, as soon as you get home, what we tell people, get out your clothes, have a shower. Lavender is actually really good for the brain, believe it or not. I know, I just thought I was like that really. But we have these alpha and beta waves Yeah, and beta's